I'm AJ.
And
And welcome to Rooted in Real, where genuine conversation meets guided perspective. Starting off real good.
real good, smooth. So thank you for joining us in our first episode of our podcast. Today we're going to discuss friendship, predominantly our
Ours.
friendship. But before we get into that, we talk a little bit about why we started this podcast.
She bullied me into it. Let's be clear. She bullied me into it. She said our conversations were good enough that we should be able to share them with the world. And I thought, share them with who?
Right.
No, thank you. And she just kept saying it. And I was like, fine. Our friend said it. I said, And then she said it one more time. She's like, listen, I'm going to do something like this with or without you. You might want to be on the train. I said, I'm on board. All aboard.
Absolutely.
So here we are. Rooted in Real was born.
So as you get older, it's hard to maintain close relationships, especially with women. You get busy with work and children and career and just so much that it's hard to maintain relationships. And so we kind of came about friendship in a very unique way. And so what we started doing is every Friday I would call her and I would check in. I was like, hey, how's things going? Are you okay? And it was just an obligatory, check in, make sure you're alive, make sure I'm alive. Just trying to have connections because it's so hard to maintain those connections. And that turned into something deeper because, God was in the mix and scripture was in the mix. And, I would hear sometimes maybe her okay wasn't really okay. And a lot of times my okay was absolutely not okay. Not that I was looking for anybody to vent to, just checking in. And those casual conversations turned into something deeper. And I thought, hey, we should do this every week on a podcast. Like, let other people
Here we are.
kind of tap in, almost like a therapy. And so that's where our
here we are.
podcast started from.
Yep. So we are here in Northwest Georgia. Just so you know a little bit about us. We're here in Northwest Georgia.
Yes.
I met Satin at church. Me and my husband started going to a church here after we moved here when I got a job here. And she started talking to us. I realized her and my husband had a lot in common. So did they, out here with all their trauma from childhood, and they just
trauma bonded.
Yes. And I was like, okay, they can be friends and whatever. But then she just started talking to me, and I was like, even though we're so different, it was just something about her that gravitated me towards her. Might be the realness, the genuineness of her. She really doesn't sugarcoat a single thing that she says to you, no matter what it is. But it also is not like dripping in sarcasm. It is laced with love.
Yes. Empathy.
No matter what it is, it's laced with love.
I was told is you put honey on it.
Put a little honey. I think somebody taught you that. You did not grow up that way.
Pastor Mays.
Yeah.
Pastor Mays.
So here we are. And she was one of the first people I told. And I mean, but when I first got pregnant with my first kid, that was in 2016. We'd only been here about a year. And that's how quickly this bond formed, that she was one of the first people I told that I was pregnant.
Actually, we were like exercising. Well,
we had been. So we had started exercising at her house, ended up starting a little group situation where we all trying to get fit, get together. And I got real tired after that one time. My husband comes home and is like, hey, you should take a pregnancy test. And I tell her about it. And she was like, yay. I said, but I can't. I'm tired. I can't work out right now. Maybe later. Yep. Never did start back, let me tell you that. Never got back to it.
Start.
It was never got back, but
stop.
Yes, but we were there for that, and then she was there the whole time. When I had issues afterwards, she was there for me for that. Then I'm out here thinking I'll just have one more kid, and then I go to the doctor, and who texts me and says you got something to tell me? I was like, did God? I got a fresh ultrasound picture in my hand. She's talking about, did you got something to tell me? I just found out myself, babe. But she already knew. So. It's been a whirlwind. It's been a thing. It's been fun. It's been vulnerable. It's been tears. There's been joy. There's been a lot of things. I mean, it's been a lot.
It has.
And
it's been awesome though.
10 years that I've known. Ooh, child.
Oh my God. It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years. I met you probably in 2015, really.
I'm gonna tell you, that's amazing to me to maintain a relationship in adulthood for 10 years or longer. I have a good friend. She lives in Florida, and I met her like through, I think, it was like a CNA class. I didn't really want to be a CNA. I was just trying to kill time. And we were there, and she came up to me, and she was like, will you be my friend? Like, just out the blue. And she's like,
box, yes or no?
Yeah, she said she went home, and she told her husband, like, I seen this girl in class. I think I want to be her friend. And she came up to me, And I think I said something along the lines, I'll be your friend if you go to church or something like that. I can't exactly remember the details of it, but she's still my friend. And she's one of the people I was like, okay, maintain a relationship.
Yeah.
But
Keep her around.
I've always been one of those people, like, I can maintain one relationship with a person at a time.
Can't do multiple.
I can't do multiples. I'm not very good at it. Multitasking is just not great. And
I mean, it is helpful that I'm like, please don't call me every day.
Yes.
I
You are
don't-
low maintenance.
I ain't got nothing to say to you every single day.
You
I
are
just
absolutely.
don't. So then it builds up till Friday. We have a discussion.
Right.
And then we say, all right, talk to you next week.
And I think that's part of the yin and yang, part of our connection or our relationship. As she said, I've connected with her husband. Like I said, we trauma bonded. But I'm a firm believer. If I can't be friends with your wife, I can't be friends with you. And so I was like, well, I had met her first, but when I met him, again, it was just the whole trauma bonding, the just genuine conversation and listening and having like mind and like childhoods. But I think the reason why me and you may have bonded is because I have a lot of similarities to one of your siblings in terms of the boldness, in terms of the, just fearlessness, all of those things, just being there, all of the things. And so
just wild.
I think that's what kind of connected. And for me, it was just, again, my whole instance was like, if I'm going to be friends with your husband, I'm going to be friends with you. And then, of course, I was friends with you, and I was like, oh, I like her.
Then I stole you.
You stole me. And that's what we were. And that's how we are. And so, as she said, we live in Northwest Georgia. We're both married. I have 2 girls.
I have 2 boys.
Mine are much older than hers.
Yeah.
Because I'm about 6 years older than her.
She just started a lot earlier than I did on this kid situation.
Yeah,
so.
I got married young, had kids young. Got it out the way.
I waited till I was about 27, 28, and then had some kids. So mine are, how old are my kids? 8 and 4. 8 and 4. They'll be 9 and 5 this year.
Yes. I wouldn't say how old my kids are, but one is an adult. I would say that. One's adult and one's in middle school.
Yep.
We'll say that.
She grown.
She grown. And so that's where our friendship came. And it's a great friendship. I mean,
it is.
Like, for instance, when you first got pregnant, and we were doing the exercise, and there were a few people with us, and we were just like walking around trying to figure out what we need to do. She was helping me count calories. I hated every minute of it. She went through my refrigerator, and it was like,
awful. She was like, how you gonna build muscle when you ain't got nothing in here to build muscle with? You ain't got no protein. You ain't got nothing.
She was like, why you got all this processed food? I said, nobody is ever even home to eat. At the time, I was working, my husband's working. And the kids were always in something. Nobody was even home.
And so, I'm not even saying that you need to go buy all organic, grass-fed beef or nothing like that. But you're going to have to have something in here better than a Lunchable. Like, we got to have more food in the fridge if you think you really, like, what am I over here for? What am I doing with you? Why are we working out if I'm going to still eat trash? If you're going to eat trash.
I had this theory in my mind that I could just exercise out the trash that I eat. And that was not good.
And you're not the only one with that theory. People think all the time that you can outrun a bad diet, and you cannot.
You absolutely cannot. I mean, especially when, as you get older, menopause, perimenopause, hormones, childbirth, all of the things that happen to women that affects their ability to be able
lose weight and everything else. Lose, maintain, fluctuates all the time.
Autoimmune diseases.
Let's talk about it.
That's another day.
Another topic for another day.
Another day.
Which is, you know what? And honestly, how some of these Friday conversations came up was because this one got so sick that I was like, hey, are you alive?
That's right.
And then there'd be weeks where she wouldn't call, so I'm like,
she must be sick.
She don't feel good this week. But I also wasn't finna call her because she's probably asleep.
Right.
So that would also probably turn somebody off from being a friend of mine, where I'm like, I'm not finna call you even though I know you don't feel good, because you don't feel good. Right. And that's not what we do here. It's not the nature of our relationship is to, you're going to call me when you feel better.
That's right. And see, I think that's part of why we do bond really well, is because I don't have any unrealistic expectations on you, because I wouldn't put those on you because I wouldn't want them on me.
Right.
And so I think it benefits us that we both are like-minded in that I'm there if you need me. Like, you could call me anytime. But the normal, like, call and just
sit on the phone?
Yeah, just sit on the phone is not normal. And even the weekly calls, it started because I was like, I need to be a better friend. And I had this idea in my head of thinking, I need to be a better friend. You know, God tells us, you know, He calls us friends, and we talk to Him and we have conversations with Him, and it's a regular thing to be able to stay connected with Him. And I was like, I need to do that with people because if I do it with God, I could do it with people, and it's so much harder.
It's different
to do
though.
it with people.
It's different doing it with people who don't. Maybe they don't share the same sentiment of wanting to be that close or trying to figure it out or being vulnerable with you. Like God is always going to be open and honest and figuring things out with you. Whereas people, you might have to work at it a little bit to make people talk to you, figure it out. And I mean, I'm sorry, but you had to work a little bit for my vulnerability.
I did. I had to work. I did have to work, but you know,
but I'm just not used to being and doing such.
But it was easy to do because you were open to it. You weren't just flat out rejecting me. You didn't. But you know, you were vocal. You were like, I'm not really used to this, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this either. Like, you know, the whole
we working on
being vulnerable, crying, being emotional. It was like, I don't know how to do that, but once it turned on, it was on.
It was it.
You know.
Yeah, I no longer needed to hold it, I guess.
Right.
If you asking me stuff, now, I might be holding something, but I ain't gonna hold it all.
Right. You had a safe space. I think that's what I was trying to create is a space where if you had something that you really needed to discuss or really needed to get off, that you were free to be able to vent. Like, I didn't have to give my opinion. I didn't have to give you Bible. I didn't have to give you scripture. And that's absolutely another thing in friendships is sometimes unsolicited advice and unwarranted advice or opinions. Cool. You know,
I ain't ask you.
You know, cool. I didn't ask you. And so that's one thing I absolutely believe I do in all my friendships and my relationships with people is I always ask, do you want to hear from me? Do you want to hear from God? Or am I just listening? And
tell me which one you want.
Which one you want. And if it's just listening, I can do that. I can just listen. You know, is it an escape plan? You know, are we burying a body? Are we bailing out of jail?
We here
are we
for
going
all
to church? You know, we fasting. I mean, all of it, you know, all of it. All of the above, you know. We're getting out of jail and going to church.
We might need to do both.
We absolutely need to do both. Ain't no might. We absolutely need to do both.
Because if we done went to jail, we might go repent a little bit.
Because I tell you, the only way I'm going to get out is if you get me out.
Yeah.
Because my husband going to leave me in.
He going to leave you there. I'm going to come bond you out.
Yeah, you're going to have to bond me out. I have two people, her and one other person. I told the other person where my key is and where the bail me out of jail money is. Now, that person get the money and she bring it to AJ because the other person ain't going to handle the logistics because I'll still be in there.
Right.
But
I got that. I
AJ will be able to handle good under pressure.
Out.
She's a doctor, so she'll be able to good under pressure. But the other one?
I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'm not doing CPR on you.
You know how to do CPR, right?
I do know how to do it.
Okay.
But I've not had to do it on a real person.
I feel like when the time comes, you're very good under pressure.
I'm going to do right.
You're very good under pressure.
Because this is pressure. Because let's not tell a lie. This whole thing, I was about to sweat bullets before we started this. If we being rooted in real, okay? I was sweating bullets, but it's okay.
Yeah, she's really out of her comfort zone. And I mean, I just don't have a comfort zone. I'm willing to try anything.
I wish.
I'm willing to try anything, do anything. You know, just it don't. I don't even have to have a partner.
No, she'll do it she'll go skydiving by herself. Like she not saying, "Hey, you coming with me?" She'll just do it by herself.
I just need somebody to drive just in case parachute don't open. Then I need somebody to tell everybody in the family she didn't make it. She went out with a bang.
A real bad bang.
A real bad bang.
Splat.
She didn't make it.
No.
I actually did go skydiving. I did that because I was trying to get over my fear of heights. And I felt like, you know, Joyce Myers had this thing. She says, do it afraid. And so.
But see, I'm going to get real close to the mic. Because what I don't understand is jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
I feel like.
The plane was fine. It wasn't on fire. It wasn't about to crash. Why am I jumping out of it? Why am I getting off the perfectly good, safe plane?
It was amazing.
To fly out in the air.
It was amazing.
I did not know you did this. See what I'm talking about? Yin yang. And not the twins.
My husband.
Yin yang.
Yin yang.
Right. No, not doing it.
My husband, he went and he was going to, but he was like, somebody got to make it.
Somebody got to make it for these kids.
Got to be on the ground.
See, he knew he wasn't going to begin with.
He did. But he did it where they would film it. So I did tandem.
Okay.
So I didn't jump out by myself because, you know, I have no experience. But he did it where they film it, so I could have that memory. And then I went.
That's lovely. I'll watch it so I can have that memory too.
Right, I went
'Cause I
zip
ain't never
lining.
doing it.
I did zip lining.
I'm
We just kept going higher and higher.
Oh,
And then the last line was over like a gorge, like a huge gorge that was active, you know, flowing. And when we got to before we started and we got up there, I asked the guy, I was like, Are you saved? Do you know Jesus? And he was like, Am I going to meet him today? And I was like,
I hope not.
I just need to know that you serve the same God I serve. And I think he said he was Catholic or something. I was like, he'll work, that'll work. And I made them grab hands. And pray. And my husband was like, you can't do that with these people. I don't care nothing about it. If I get on this line,
and
they
it
got
don't
to
work.
pull me back.
Yeah, I need you to be
pray.
ready.
And I know that sounds crazy, but if you're doing it afraid, you know, I believe God to protect me, but God said help my unbelief. So I believe, Lord, but help my unbelief.
Help my unbelief. Yes.
And so I did make them pray for me, pray with me. And
I don't think it's nothing wrong with that.
And it worked great. And then the next thing I was going to do was a hot air balloon. But at the time, there were a lot of crashes going on.
I have zero desire to do these things.
I felt like that was a sign from the Lord not to do it. Like I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my fear of heights was so bad that like when you go to Atlanta and you get on the overpass, the expressway, I would have an anxiety attack.
Oh wow.
Trying to do that.
But so instead of maybe just doing that a little
first,
more,
right.
we jumped out of a perfectly good
Right.
plane.
I feel like you go big, go home. Yeah.
You was about to go home.
I was about to go home and see the Lord. I was about to go home.
You was
and
about
see
to be
my
home.
maker.
The upper room. Sure was.
I was gonna meet him, and but my husband, he was there for me.
That's very lovely.
He was like,
That's
you
lovely.
can do it. And
Being a helpmate, and all
Dr.
that.
Amy. I tried to get Dr. Amy to go, and she was actually going to go with me, but I can't remember. Something happened, and then I ended up going by myself. But I'm too old to go now.
I'm glad you were able to do that.
Yeah.
That's to see
my bones.
different friends.
My bones don't work.
Different friends. This is wonderful.
Jump out that plane, something crack.
Before you even touch the ground. Oh, yeah. So these are the kind of conversations that we like to have, the things that you can expect if you were to watch our podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
On a weekly basis.
Right. Each week we will we'll approach with a different topic. This week we just wanted to discuss our friendship. Next week we're still going to continue the topic of friendship. I think we'll dive a little bit deeper into the different aspects of friendship over the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about the types of friendships, associates, acquaintances, you know, the different levels. I actually just read an article that it was talking.
Tell me more.
It was talking about I think it's called the friendship, the shelf theory, shelf friends theory or something like that.
We'll figure it out.
Shelf theory, something like that. But it's a theory.
We'll read more about it before we tell y'all about it.
It's a theory about placing your friends in different categories, and you've
we
already
do.
discussed this anyway. And I've always talked about having 3 types of friends, or 3 types of people in your life, not just friends. I feel like you need somebody that is on your level, somebody that you can relate to, that you can help encourage each other, somebody that is maybe on a level underneath you, so that you can pull them up, they can learn, they can pour into, and you can fill, empty your cup, fill their cup, and then somebody that you aspire or attain to be, somebody that's reached.
Better than you a little bit.
Right, yeah. Goals that you want to reach, has maybe a stronger foundation in their relationship with God.
Right.
The career, all of the things. So I think those 3 types of people in any type of relationship you have, just friendships, family, romantic,
are important to have.
Are important to have. So join us.
Join us.
Each week.
Where we have genuine conversations and a guided perspective.
Thank you for joining us today.